A lovely good evening and welcome to the Camnet News Desk. Today, the 30th of January in the year 2025. Let's take a look at the headlines. Zambia's annual inflation rate holds steady at 16.7%. MTENDERE potato traders bemoan scarcity of the commodity. ZALA calls for dismissal of officials involved in illegal land allocation. In international news this evening, DRC President warns of vigorous military response to M23 rebel advance. And in sports, GERRARD leaves AL-ETTIFAQ after poor run. Join me for these and many more stories after this break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
To present Camnet TV main news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Zambia's annual inflation rate for January 2025 has remained unchanged at 16.7%, the same as December 2024. Zambia Statistics Agency ZAMSTAT's acting statistician General Sheila Mdenda says this is despite an increase in annual food inflation, which rose to 19.2% in January from 18.6% in December. She explained that of the total 16.7% inflation, food and non-alcoholic beverages accounted for 11.2 percentage points, while the non-food group contributed 5.5 percentage points. The highest contributors in the non-food category were housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels at 2.3 percentage points, followed by transport. Regionally, Lusaka province recorded the highest contribution at 4.1%, followed by the Copper Belt at 3.9%, while Northwestern province had the lowest at 0.5%. Meanwhile, copper prices on the London Metal Exchange, LME, dropped by 1.7% from $9,074.9 per metric ton in November 2024 to $8,919.5 in December 2024. Consequently, Zambia's export earnings from refined copper declined by 2.8% from 20.4 billion kwacha in November to 19.8 billion kwacha in December.
At 20.5% from 18.6%. The annual inflation for January 2025 decreased for the following provinces. Copperbelt province decreased to 18.8% from 18.9%. Eastern province decreased to 14.3% from 16.9% that was recorded. We're making comparisons to those from the last month. Southern province recorded at 17.3% from 18.3%. And lastly, Northwestern province reducing to 13.9% from 15.2%. We now have a look at price averages for selected items. The first one is that of bread and cereals. There we'll see an increase in the breakfast mealie meal, 25 kg, moving from 342 kwacha 16 ingwe to 356 kwacha 52 ingwe. The copper export earnings, here we share that the refined copper export earnings decreased by 2.8% from 20.4 billion in November 2024 to 19.8 billion kwacha in December 2024. The export volumes increased by 0.5% from 79.5 thousand metric tons in November 2024 to 80.0 thousand metric tons in December 2024.
We now go to Lusaka's MTENDERE township, where potato traders are calling for cost-reflective pricing as the commodity remains scarce and prices continue to rise. Some traders report that prices are increasing every 2 days, creating uncertainty among customers and making it difficult to secure supply. Zambia Fruits and Vegetables Association President Bernard Sikunyongana attributes a shortage to climate change, noting that many small-scale farmers have stopped growing potatoes due to depleted water sources. He has urged the government to support farmers with irrigation systems and consider opening borders to stabilize supply before prices escalate further. Details in this report.
Some potato traders in Lusaka's MTENDERE compound have raised concern at the escalating potato prices on the market. Speaking to Camnet News, one of the traders, Douglas Kalota, shared how this untimely increase has affected his business.
It was affected badly in the sense that prices are increasing just like after every 2 days. So our customers are getting confused. Moreover, even us, the supply is short, so sometimes we have potatoes, and other days we don't have anything.
Meanwhile, Zambia Fruits and Vegetables Association President Bernard Sikunyongana has attributed the shortage to a short supply of the commodity on the market exacerbated by climate change. Mr. Sikunyongana noted that there was inadequate local harvest of potatoes and such local supply was affected.
The shortage for potatoes, the main cause has been the climate change. I think everyone is aware that small-scale farmers had their rivers dry, their dams dry, so very few have participated into the growing of potatoes. And hence, this is the reason why now there's a short supply on the market. There's only now one source that is supplying potatoes. So really climate change has had its own negative impact in Zambia. And I think we have seen to say all these years normally we have a shortage in March, April, but now as early as January, February we have seen this short supply.
He added that there is need to decentralize the supply of potatoes in the country by way of opening borders.
Measure, we just have to open the borders so that we don't run out of potatoes. But the moment we don't do that, the repercussion of that, the prices will shoot up sharply, which will be a disadvantage to the consumer and even disturbing their budgets. But I think all in all, government still has a solution, a permanent solution. It has been our wish if the government can also extend the support to small-scale farmer like the SAF program. Give them water, irrigation system, and then they can start producing these potatoes.
Barbara Mlenga for Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Zambia Land Alliance has urged the government to dismiss rather than suspend officials implicated in illegal land allocations. Alliance Executive Director Patrick Msole urges that the 3-month suspension of Chongwe Municipal Council officials is inadequate, stating that the punishment should be directed at individuals responsible as victims lost significant sums of money. However, Mr. Msole acknowledged that the move marks a victory for accountability, aligning with Zambia Land Association's ongoing advocacy for effective land management and targeted punitive measures. He further commended the government for appointing a local government administrator to oversee operations during the suspension period. Yesterday, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Nkombo, with immediate effect suspended the Mayor of Chongwe and all councillors of Chongwe Municipal Council over allegations of improper and disorderly allocation of land.
Zambia Land Alliance welcomes the suspension of the mayor and the councillors for Chongwe Town Council for their involvement in illegal land allocation. For a long time, ZLA has been calling for targeting the punishment at the individuals involved in the illegal land allocation and not just the councils collectively. We believe that the suspension of the mayor and the councillors is a step in the right direction because the people involved in making illegal decisions will feel the punishment in their individual capacity. However, suspension is a temporary measure which will be lifted after 3 months and can therefore not be deterrent enough. The people involved in legal decision making can do their cost-benefit analysis, and if they feel that they stand to benefit more than lose in 3 months, they can still go ahead with their illegalities. As ZLA, we therefore call for strengthening of the law and administrative systems to stiffen the punishment by dismissing officials involved in illegal allocation rather than only suspending them for a few months. We also welcome the appointment of a local government administrator to ensure that the people of Chongwe can continue to receive services from Chongwe Town Council.
The Public Health Association of Zambia has expressed concern over the increasing number of people, particularly women, getting tattoos. National Coordinator Mambo Mumbuluma warns that tattoos can lead to skin damage, infections, allergic reactions, and even diseases such as tuberculosis and syphilis. He also cautioned that some tattoo methods involve unsafe chemicals, posing serious health risks. Meanwhile, Lusaka clergyman Bishop John Mambo says tattoos often carry negative perceptions and are associated with certain lifestyles, including homosexuality. However, he urged society and parents to guide rather than judge individuals with tattoos, helping them become responsible citizens.
The Public Health Association of Zambia, we have observed with concern on the rise of number of people with tattoos, especially ladies. The most unfortunate part is that these tattoos are of different forms, where they use different chemicals and different methods, some of which are safe, or others are not. Tattoos can damage the skin and cause health complications, including infections, allergic reactions, and scarring. The following are some of the complications that arise from having tattoos. The first one being skin infections. Tattoos can lead to skin infections, mostly caused by bacteria, such as staphylococcus infections, tuberculosis, syphilis, and many more. Equally, the second one is allergic reactions, where tattoo dyes can cause allergic reactions, which may develop immediately or over the years after getting the tattoo. Tattoos can also expose people to blood-borne diseases. Contaminated needles can introduce blood-borne diseases such as hepatitis B, hepatitis C, HIV, and tetanus, just to mention but a few. Skin tattoos can equally cause skin cancer. Though there is no direct evidence that tattoos can cause skin cancer, some tattoo inks contain carcinogens that can put someone at risk of developing skin cancer. And then lastly, late discovery of skin infections. Tattoos lead to the late discovery of skin infections that pose a danger in that it allows for the progression of the skin infections, minus them being noticed, meaning that treatment is sought when the infection has already progressed.
The Emeralds and Semi-Precious Stones Mining Association of Zambia has urged the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Development to implement its proposed consolidation of small-scale mining companies in Lufwanyama in a way that promotes competition. Association President Victor Kalesha acknowledges the need for consolidation, but argues that merging all artisanal and small-scale miners into a single entity may not be ideal for industry growth. He suggests that grouping companies based on their specific expertise would create a more favorable business environment, especially with increasing investor interest in small-scale mining. Mr. Kalesha further stated that miners in Lufwanyama are ready to collaborate with the government on the plan, but emphasized the need for a clear roadmap and investment-friendly policies.
The pronouncement by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Mines, that they intend to consolidate the small-scale mines in licenses in Lufwanyama to come up with one big entity is a welcome move. But we would like to advise that consolidating into one solid one is not really a right move. It should be in segments where you consolidate or amalgamate in portions so that there is competition. We cannot give one or a segment to one investor. So we should segment it in portions, like in 10s or 20s, and then we'll create competition with these already existing competitors. It is attainable with good engagement. Would like to know how is this going to be done in a way that there is a win-win situation with those that have already done operations, vast operations on their operations. And if only we can see this sector develop, even seeing better more in 2025, is when we see that the policies that government are coming up with, like the introduction of 15% gemstone export tax, are attended to, because this is distracting of the coming in of investors. But as small-scale miners in Lufwanyama, we are ready to engage with government in terms of amalgamation, but it needs to be explained further and how it's going to be attainable in terms of consolidating. There are people that are dormant, have been dormant forever. There are people that, like myself, who have been operating and still operating, and we have put in money. So this is where government needs to come in, so that the shareholding structure is well structured for the win-win situation.
The Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA Zambia, has urged the government to fast-track public access to information instead of the 2-year timeline set in the Access to Information Act. MISA Zambia National Coordinator and Director Austin Kayanda told Camnet News that the extended time frame could hinder citizens' ability to access information critical for timely decision-making. Mr. Kayanda revealed that the Ministry of Justice is currently reviewing guidelines, rules and policies to operationalize the Act. Once finalized, these measures will empower journalists to conduct investigative reporting and provide the public with vital information on matters of public interest.
We were very happy when the President assented to this bill in December 2023. However, the operationalization of this bill was delayed again by about almost like 6 months. Last June, the minister issued a statutory instrument to operationalize this bill. However, at that time when the statutory instruments was signed, we had no guidelines, we had no rules, we had no policy relating to the same. But I'm happy to say that with other stakeholders, all those things have been done. They are now with the Ministry of Justice. Once the Ministry of Justice finishes, then we should be able to see the bill being implemented. And also, I must state that we are a bit concerned because within those rules and guidelines, there's a provision where the government gave itself 2 years to put certain things and measures in place. So that means, again, we have to wait for another 2 years, which is not fair. We expect everything to be in place and so that people can access this information. We are urging the government to fast track this law, implementation of this law, and see what we can do so that citizens can benefit from this law.
The Southern Center for Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SCARCITY, has called on opposition political parties to engage in dialogue with the government to address national challenges instead of inciting violence. Speaking to Camnet News, SCARCITY Executive Director Arthur Muyunda expressed concern over the current political climate, stating that it hinders national progress by lacking constructive solutions to pressing social and economic issues. He warned that some opposition parties have been inciting their members to retaliate against perceived political intimidation, a move that only escalates tensions and disrupts peace efforts. Mr. Muyunda urged politicians to focus on national development by providing credible checks and balances that contribute to stability and growth. Details in this report.
With the elections drawing closer and closer, political tension has become the order of the day by many political parties in the country. Recently, there have been a few scandals observed, especially with the incoming by-elections in Petauke and Pambeshi constituencies. These occurrences have raised concern among stakeholders regarding the political landscape of the country. The Southern African Center for Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SCARCITY, has since urged opposition political players to instead seek dialogue with government to address the challenges the country is facing as opposed to inciting violence. SCARCITY Executive Director Arthur Muyunda added that encouraging party members to resort to violence in retaliation of alleged political intimidation is detrimental to the development of the nation.
We have seen a lot of political statements coming from politicians. What we expected as we are heading into the 2026 elections is that politicians should start toning down now and start sharing messages of what they would do for the country when they come to power. It was so unfortunate to hear from the Secretary General of the Tonsa Alliance, who encouraged their members that they should retaliate with violence when they are attacked. For us, what we expected from a senior politician like him was to call for the other camp to tell their cadres if they are attacking the opposition, because what we expect is that people are growing into politics. We expect Zambia to be growing into politics such that we'll be having mature politics.
Mr. Muyunda has since called on the politicians to prioritize national development by providing credible checks and balances that contribute to the country's growth and stability.
Politicians to exercise mature politics. We expect them to always be level-headed when they are doing with politics. Politics is not about fighting. The politics is not about who has the biggest muscle. Politics should always be about fighting, about ideas. Zambian people are hungry on what the politicians are going to do for us. Zambians are hungry on the development for this country. I think 50 years plus after independence is time for us to start moving in the direction of looking at how are we going to emancipate our Zambians from poverty. We have Zambians who are living in poverty. We are living in a situation where we are in load shedding day in, day out. What solutions do those that are aspiring to come to power have, which the current government is not doing?
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Osaka.
Government has maintained its commitment in collaborating with Lottery International District in a bid to drive socio-economic development. Speaking during a courtesy call by Lottery International District 9210, Delegation Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chupoka Mlenga says the collaboration between the government and private sectors is very important in addressing social and economic challenges. The minister further encouraged the development of homegrown solutions that are tangible to tackle challenges in key sectors such as health, education, and socio-economic development. Meanwhile, Lottery International District 9210 Governor Tom Kamwendo says his organization is implementing a $5 million project to address health sector challenges in selected districts, including northern and central provinces. He pledged to continue doing more to benefit communities, emphasizing the organization's dedication to driving positive change.
We call as government on the Rotary to come together and work with us. You have never shunned to participate. Actually, even before government calls, you're always there. So let's work together to make sure that these health, social and economic challenges we have, we overcome them together. The President is willing to engage with every private sector. But what more you who are all willing to do it yourselves? So DG, I don't take your coming to this office lightly. I'm very grateful. And this is a message I will take even to His Excellency just in a few minutes from now. That DG has come, and I will take the message of what you discussed with me about the health sector to him. But let's work together to get this country out of the challenges it has. You are the government. So we are together in this.
We've got what we call the Rotary Healthy Communities Challenge, where we are training over 2,000 community health workers to tackle malaria, diarrhea, and pneumonia near the people in places where health facilities are very far away. So that's a $5 million project which we're implementing in northern and central provinces, in 6 districts, I think. So we will continue to do our bit. We've got that program running. As I said, there are 13 clubs in Lusaka. In Zambia overall, we have more than 30 clubs, and each one of those is always doing a project.
In court news this evening, Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chwidi has dismissed an application by independent Lumezi Member of Parliament Munia Zulu to refer his case to a High Court for constitutional determination in a matter where he is facing 3 counts of libel. Mr. Zulu, who pleaded not guilty, argued that he could not be charged with criminal libel because he only spoke the alleged defamatory words but did not publish them. He further contended that the charge against him violated Article 18(8) of the Constitution, which states that no person shall be convicted of a criminal offense unless it is defined and its penalty prescribed in written law. His legal team urged the court to seek constitutional guidance on whether spoken words without publication constitute a criminal offense. However, Magistrate Chwili ruled that determining whether Zulu's statements amount to libel is a matter of evidence, not a constitutional issue. Mr. Zulu is accused of defaming Infrastructure Minister Charles Milupi, Finance Minister Stumbekom Sokotwane, and Road Development Agency Board Chairperson Mauchand Kuntawala. He allegedly held a press conference on March 21st, 2023, where he claimed that Ministers Milupi and Musokotwane each received $250,000 through a bank transfer from an undisclosed company. He also alleged that Kuntawala corruptly sent $150,000 to Milupi 2 days before his appointment as RDA board chairperson. And that particular court story takes us to our first set of commercials. But do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Please do stay tuned.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260-763-062-680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Thank you so much for still joining us and welcome back. And now in international news, the Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi has hinted that the army is mounting a vigorous military response as Rwanda-backed M23 fighters advance in the east of the country. The rebels have captured large swaths of the mineral-rich region in recent weeks, including most of the key city of Goma, capital of North Kivu province. The United Nations, the United States, and other Western powers said Rwandan forces backed up the M23 in Goma, but Rwanda denied the allegations. Addressing the nation on television for the first time since the M23 entered the city, Tshisekedi said a vigorous and coordinated response against these terrorists and their sponsors is underway. He also condemned the inaction of the international community in the face of what he described as an unprecedented worsening of the security situation. Here's a roundup of international news.
As fighting continues in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, President Felix Tshisekedi has vowed the country will fight back. Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have seized control of the city of Goma and are reportedly advancing south. In a televised address to the nation, Tshisekedi rallied Congolese to support the army.
A
vigorous, coordinated response against these terrorists and their sponsor is underway. Our brave armed forces of the DRC, a symbol of courage and patriotism, are fully mobilized and ready to defend every inch of our territory. Tshisekedi also criticized the inaction of the international community in the face of the escalating security crisis. The United Nations Security Council has met several times to discuss the situation in the DRC, calling on the M23 to halt its offensive. Kinshasa, the UN and some Western powers say Rwandan forces backed up the M23 in Goma, which Kigali has denied.
Rwanda continues
to openly and unscrupulously violate the fundamental principles of the United Nations Charter and regional agreements. Worse still, these actions are carried out with total impunity and in blatant disregard for international rules and the values these institutions are supposed to defend. This arrogant attitude, which no longer tries to hide its false pretenses, is an unacceptable challenge to our sovereignty and regional stability. In a ratcheting up of tensions in the region, Rwandan President Paul Kagame says his country is ready for a confrontation with South Africa. This follows a claim by President Cyril Ramaphosa that the M23 and Rwandan forces were responsible for the deaths of 13 South African peacekeepers. For the third straight day, thousands of displaced Palestinians could be seen on Wednesday returning to what is left of their homes in the north of Gaza. But the joy soon turns to despair as they move from one disaster zone to another. Months of intensive Israeli bombardment has laid waste to large swathes of the enclave. The most difficult day in my life was the day of the ceasefire when the war stopped, because that day I understood that my home was destroyed. Where will I return to? To a tent. From a tent to a tent. Still, columns of people using cars, motorbikes, donkey carts or on foot could be seen heading north along Gaza's coastal road on Wednesday, carrying what they can of their belongings. But tough times wait ahead for them in the midst of Gaza's winter cold. The reality of bombed out homes, dire shortages of food supplies, lack of running water and no electricity. Ghana says it's signed a memorandum of understanding with its official creditors, an essential process in restoring the viability of its public finances. Finance Minister Kasielato Forson says this formalizes a debt restructuring plan agreed to with its official creditor committee in June last year. The reworking of its debt has been a long-standing saga for the gold and cocoa producing country after it defaulted on most of its external borrowing in 2022. But now it says all participating creditor countries have signed the deal. It marks a strategic turning point for Ghana as it seeks to stabilize its economy and return to sustainable growth. The ministry says the deal will provide significant debt service relief over its International Monetary Fund loan program. With most of the restructuring process complete, it remains to finalize negotiations over the remaining 7%, mainly with commercial creditors. It says it's currently in talks with 60 international banks to rework its remaining $2.7 billion in loans.
And finally, in sports news this evening, former England and Liverpool midfielder Steven Gerrard has parted ways with Saudi Arabian club AL-ETTIFAQ by mutual consent after 18 months in charge. Gerrard, who joined the club in July 2023, had signed a contract extension in January 2024 to stay until 2027. However, a disappointing run of just 5 wins in 17 league matches this season has left AL-ETTIFAQ 5 points above the relegation zone, prompting his exit. The 44-year-old began his managerial career with Rangers in 2018, leading them to a Scottish Premiership title in the 2020-2021 season. He later took charge of Aston Villa, but was dismissed after 11 months following a poor run of results. Gerrard guided AL-ETTIFAQ to a 6th place finish in his first season, but struggled this term, winning only 5 of 17 league games. He leaves the club 12th in a 16-team league with 23 wins in 59 matches overall. Now, reports suggest he was among the highest paid managers in the world football, earning an estimated £15 million per year during his time in Saudi Arabia. And that sporting item brings us to the end of this edition of Camnet Main News. But before we go, a recap of stories that made headlines. Zambia's annual inflation rate holds steady at 16.7%. MTENDERE potato traders bemoan scarcity of the commodity. ZLA calls for dismissal of officials involved in illegal land allocation. In international news, DRC president warns of vigorous military response to M23 rebel advance. In sports, Steven Gerrard leaves AL-ETTIFAQ after poor run. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of 1 John chapter 1 and verse 5. It reads, "This then is the message which we have heard of him, and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him is not darkness at all." We end the reading and we end the main news. But like always, dear viewer, do remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now, on behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo, Joe Smata. Good evening and God bless.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions